You're watching News 9, I'm Krishna Kumar. The global fallout from the newly released Epstein files continues to widen, triggering denials, apologies, and high-profile resignations across continents. The office of the Dalai Lama has issued a strong clarification, firmly denying any link between the Tibetan spiritual leader and convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The statement came after China's state-run media claimed that the Dalai Lama's name appeared multiple times in the unsealed U.S. Justice Department files of Epstein. The Dalai Lama's office said he never met Epstein and never authorized any interaction with him, stressing that mere mention of a name in the files does not imply wrongdoing. In Europe, Norway's royal family is facing intense scrutiny. Crown Princess Mette-Marit has issued a profound apology after it emerged that she exchanged mails with Epstein between the years of 2011 and 2014. The messages released in the US files include friendly exchanges and plans to meet. While there are no allegations of criminal wrongdoing, charities have begun distancing themselves and critics are questioning her judgment as Norway's future queen. Meanwhile, in France, the controversy has claimed its first major political casualty. Former French culture minister Jacques Lang has resigned as head of the Arab World Institute in Paris. His resignation follows the opening of a tax fraud investigation linked to alleged past financial connections with Epstein. Lang has denied all allegations, calling them inaccurate, and says he stepped down in the interest of the institution. The Epstein files released by the U.S. Department of Justice run into millions of pages and include emails, contact lists, and correspondence involving numerous high-profile figures. While many names appear without evidence of wrongdoing, the revelations are continuing to spark political, diplomatic, and reputational crises worldwide. We have Savio Rodriguez, founder and editor-in-chief of Goa Chronicles, now with us on the broadcast. Savio, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us. The Epstein files, the Panama Papers, there's so many of these, that emerge. But this time around, the Epstein files are unique in the sense that just the mention of a name or a person in the files doesn't automatically translate into guilt. But it does raise questions and concerns nonetheless.
Yes, Krishna.
Savio, if you can hear us.
Can't hear you.
Okay, we will just fix that line with you, Savio, and get back to you. Bear in mind, we're discussing the global fallout from the newly released Epstein files, which continue to widen, and that has caused concerns across continents. In fact, from the Dalai Lama's office, which has strongly denied any connection with Epstein, to Norway's royal family, which is facing intense scrutiny after Norway's crown princess was seen to have exchanged emails with Epstein between 2011 and 2014. And now they're questioning her judgment as Norway's future queen. And that's not just in Norway, in Europe, in France, the former ex-French culture minister, Jacques Lang, has resigned as the head of the Arab World Institute in Paris. This after a tax fraud investigation linked to past financial connections with Epstein. Lang has denied all allegations and that he says that he stepped down voluntarily in the interest of the institution and nothing else. Bear in mind, these latest set of revelations come from the release of new Epstein files by the U.S. Department of Justice. We have Savio Rodriguez of the Goa Chronicles with us. Savio, the Epstein files are unique in that sense that just the mention of a name of a person doesn't translate into guilt at all, or doesn't even translate into association per se. But in many a case, you've seen the fact that be it the Norway princess or for that matter others, there is always a personal connection.
But Krishna, there would be. Let's be brutally honest about one simple fact that Epstein was a pedophilic person and was running a pedophilic ring, a sex ring. And if you read some of the mails that I've seen, it's really degenerate behavior. And the elite of different parts of the Western world, some from the Eastern as well, were a part of this elite pedophilic ring. And that is shocking. And therefore, everyone connected to it in one way or the other needs to be questioned. Criminality is based on the fact that you investigate all the allegations of the pedophilic ring run by Jeffrey Epstein and the people connected to it. Some of the details mentioned, which involve children, which involve young boys and involve young girls, is shocking to say the least, Krishna. That's elite pedophilic behavior, which is downright degenerate in nature. And these are the people who are elite of the world. Some of them are leaders of countries. Some of them are spiritual leaders. Some of them are connected with the business world. That's the kind of ring Jeffrey Epstein was running in his island. We cannot let it go. It has to be investigated, and everyone
Savio,
involved in it
but
must be taken to task.
not all names mentioned in the Epstein files are admitting to making some kind of contact with Epstein, like Norway's crown princess, who said she did exchange emails but had no idea about his crimes. She's not exactly complicit in his crimes, in his degenerate crimes. But this is the Dalai Lama we're talking about. The Dalai Lama has said absolutely never, ever, no connection whatsoever between Jeffrey Epstein and the spiritual leader.
By mere fact of association, it is important also to understand to what extent the connections of Jeffrey Epstein goes down to. Because the fact of the matter is that Jeffrey Epstein Island was running a pedophilic sex ring, and that's come out very clearly. Now, people have associated with him by virtue of being as famous as he is. I'm not saying all of them are criminals, but the fact is that their names showing up must merit an investigation into the relationship that they had with Jeffrey Epstein. If they are innocent, they will come out innocent. If they are guilty, they have to be punished, because no person has a right to abuse young children who themselves do not have a right. Right? They have taken away the rights of those young children by abusing them, and therefore they deserve to be in hell.
Okay, stay with us, Savio. Stay with us, Savio. I hope you can get a drink of water to soothe your throat. But in the meanwhile, we have some breaking news that's coming in. A major political shake-up in the United Kingdom over Epstein files. Prime Minister Keir Starmer's most powerful aide has now stepped down over the controversial appointment of Peter Mandelson as Britain's ambassador to the United States of America. Starmer's chief of staff, Morgan McSweeney, resigned, taking responsibility for advising the Prime Minister to appoint Mandelson as the ambassador to the US. The move comes as pressure mounts on Starmer following fresh revelations about Mandelson's past links with disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein, now under renewed scrutiny. In a strongly worded statement, McSweeney said the decision to appoint Mandelson was wrong and had damaged the Labour Party, the country, and public trust in politics. He acknowledged that the advice was his and said it was right for him to step aside. Now, this fallout marks what many see as the gravest of crisis of UK's Prime Minister Keir Starmer's leadership since Labour Party's landslide victory less than 2 years ago. New files have emerged suggesting Mandelson maintained a close relationship with Epstein and may have leaked government documents during his earlier diplomatic tenure, allegations that have now triggered a police investigation. McSweeney's exit raises fresh questions about the Prime Minister's judgment at a time when opinion polls already show growing voter dissatisfaction. While Starmer has praised McSweeney's role in Labour's rise to power, critics within his own party argue that the resignation may not be enough to contain the political damage. with Labour lawmakers openly questioning leadership decisions and pressure continuing to build. The controversy threatens to reshape the future direction of the Starmer government in the UK. We have Savio Rodriguez still with us. Savio, this is a very important development. This is, Peter Mandelson is, first of all, not the first figure to be disgraced because of the Epstein files. There have been multiple, and this time the only difference is that Peter Mandelson's appointment to as the UK's ambassador to the US under Keir Starmer's watch, which has built the maximum pressure on the Starmer government in the UK.
You see, a lot more countries will have to take stern action. Krishna, for a very simple reason, like I said earlier. It's about young children who were made to do despicable acts to gratify people, adults, in a part of this elite group. And that kind of degeneration is not what our civil society is all about. But it existed and it has come to light. And there are very famous people associated with it, either to commission or omission of whatever they've been associated with that particular gentleman, who, in my opinion, was not a gentleman, but a living devil that existed in this world. That kind of behavior, I've read so many of those emails, and I'm actually horrified to think that we live in a world which we are supposed to create and protect for our children is a world where there are monsters, there are diabolic demons who are actually preying on our children. And that is shocking for any parent anywhere in the world. And these people do not have a right to continue. They need to be investigated. They need to be, everyone connected to it must be asked to step down and must be investigated. And the truth behind their relationships must come out. Eventually, what are we fighting for, Krishna? We are fighting for the future for our children. That's what world governments do. That's what people in positions of power do. They talk about children. They talk about protecting our future. This is not protection of the future. Jeffrey Epstein and people, including Trump, names like Elon Musk, Bill Gates, who dances around as somebody who wants to save the world, is actually involved in something like this. And these are the men that we call as ideals. We make them icons. And they are involved with Jeffrey Epstein, who was running a pedophilic sex ring. And it's actually terrible to even think that people around the world made these people icons. And look at what they have been allegedly involved in.
Right. Absolutely. And it's not going to end. The saga is not going to end because, this is the latest eruptions are from the latest set of files released. More will be released. But for now, we're out of time here on this conversation. Savio, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on News.